back to one more video on the build of the race car. We're finally starting to get some traction, no pun intended, on getting some of the finer things done, like the wiring and whatnot. Now, I've got quite a bit done since the last video on the car. Mainly the stuff like all the brake lines are on the car. Let's see what else. Some of the wiring has been put in. Now, some of the subscribers, some of the early subscribers will remember the blue car, and this wiring is actually out of the blue car, and I don't think, I think you can see some of the stuff over here. But anyways, I'm more focused towards a street type car. And what I mean by that is I don't want wiring and relays and stuff like that visible in the car, or as little as possible at least. So what I plan on doing is mounting the electronics to this dash bar underneath, and when the dash is in the car, all that's going to get covered up and you're not going to see anything. Maybe a couple of gauges in the race pack, and that's probably about it. So what we're looking for, or what we're going to do, is you already see the ECU is mounted here. The EGT Pro amp box is probably going to go up under here, since it's not something we should be working on often, I should say. And then a little busman relay board, which is going to go right here, so when you open the glove box, it's easily accessible. And there'll probably be a couple of bus bars right here and some stuff, to make it easy to work on. So I've already got the brackets made that mount like this, and then there's going to be a piece of carbon that goes over the front of it, and yeah, that's about it. So let's get started putting the brackets in and getting the carbon mounted, and then we'll mount the components to the carbon. Okay, all we did there is use this bar clamped in place to make sure that this bracket and this bracket are on the same plane, and so that the piece of carbon that we put across there lays flat and doesn't look goofy. So let's tack the last one in place, or the second one in place, I should say. Alright, tack the last one in place here. All right, I cut the carbon off camera. So we're just gonna pretty much center it up right here. And then we're going to lay it out, drill some holes in it, and fasten it temporarily with some Cleco pins, I think. And, just kind of wing it. Typical DIY Garage TX fashion. So, note to myself. Front. That way I can't screw it up. Maybe I can, I don't know. But we're gonna try not to. So I want to mark the center line of this thing, so I put it back in the pretty much the same place every time. And we're going to center it up between these bars. Using that mark. Okay, so for a little ease of maintaining your sanity, I'm going to mount the boxes and stuff, or lay it out actually on the bench. And then, like I said earlier, we'll use the Cleco pins to hold everything in place and kind of make sure we like it like that. Working in the car is not necessary. Don't need to do it. So look down here. Already got some of it laid out here. So we're going to try to set this up in a manner where the screws that we mount the part with are also the screws that hold the panel down. I think that's a good idea, and at the same time I think it's a bad idea, but hey, we're going to do it anyways. Because we can. So these dudes are 3 9/16 center to center. All right, there's one. That's going to be the EGT box. We're going to put the stuff with the most action over towards the door so it's easier to work on. This one I don't think we're going to use the studs or the mounting bolts to mount the carbon and the part, because it looks like we're going to need it off center a little bit. Probably the same for this one. It's no biggie though. It's alright. It's all good. Let's put some holes in this expensive shit. Alright, I finally got the Cleco pins. That was a task in itself. They were cleverly hidden in my toolbox by none other than myself. So everything's Clecoed in place. Pull some of this out. See if we can kind of test fit it. We have to put these in from the other side. Yeah, so it's going to go like that. So it looks like we got to go ahead and find the rivets and get this thing put in place permanent style. That's the only way it's going to stay up there. But you get the idea. Alright, in the interest of expediency, we will go ahead and install this on freshly wet paint. Hopefully, you won't ever have to take this off again. Looks like I'm probably going to have to make a mad dash to the hardware store to get the correct size rivet washers for this at the very least. Okay, so it's the next day. I went ahead and got the hardware and got this stuff mounted up. And I think, without going back and looking, I think I got this stuff set up on the board a little differently than I had initially talked about earlier in the video. So anyways, this is how it's going to be set up. The EGT box, the little fuse box, and then the relay panel for the ARC membrane buttons, which are around here somewhere. And of course, the MS3 Pro Ultimate up here. Now, the one thing that I really did change that was mentioned in a couple of videos ago was over here on the side. I had another piece of carbon with some relays on it. And like I said, I believe earlier in the video, that I kind of made the move to hide all the wiring and keep all the junk out of the way to make it as much of a street car as I possibly could. In other words, not a bunch of wiring and crap in the way. So having said all that, I think this is probably a good place to end the video because the wiring is going to get pretty involved. So, but before I do that, I'm going to grab the camera and show you a couple other things that I got done. Okay, so like I mentioned a few minutes ago, all the brake lines and stuff are done in the car. There's I got the clips and stuff that go right here. I got to put the clips on, but outside of that, brakes are done. Just needs to be bled. A couple wires already ran out here. These wires are for the water pump, the crank wire, and the brake light switch wire, and so on and so forth. All right, so we got quite a bit of stuff done in this video, even though it doesn't really look like a lot of stuff. It's just building a car from nothing into a 4-second, 8th-mile car. There's just so much work that has to be done. Every little thing has to be made, and that was really loud. But anyways, I digress. The big switch, or the big change from a couple of videos ago up until now, was the hiding of the wires and all that jazz. I think that's going to be, it's really going to put some nice finishing touches on it and make the interior clean and all that kind of jazz. So anyways, as usual, thanks for stopping by, checking out the video and all that good stuff. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, to share it. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification icon so that you know when all the new videos come out. Now with all the side work gone, hopefully that'll be a little more regularly. So, see you guys in the next video. Appreciate it. Have a good one.